Let me move my rice out of the way. You know what's really good? Watermelon. What? It's true. Watermelon's great.
You were just... I don't see the connection between moving your rice and watermelon.
Do you want me to explain how my brain connected the two?
Okay, yeah.
I moved my rice aside and I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to eat this later. And I was like, oh, wait a second. I bought watermelon and have half watermelon in my fridge that I also told myself earlier today that I would eat later. Oh, watermelon's pretty good. You know what's a good fruit? Watermelon.
Okay. Thank you.
There you go.
Great.
You're welcome. All right, let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pushing Buttons podcast. Of course, we're going to be giving each other titles. So my name is Marks, and I'm leaving Annie.
Again. I mean, you already did that once in the previous episode.
You did this twice to me already, so... Well, I had 2 episodes that you were gone. I only had 1, so now we're even, okay?
I didn't do it twice. I did it once, and it happened to be along a period where you had to record 2 episodes. Also, I was back for when you recorded the 2nd episode without me. I'm just saying. Nope. I see you're about to... Okay, fine.
You literally told me, oh, I might be back for this one. And I said, oh, should I still record the 2nd one with a guest, or do you want to join this one? You know what? No, I'm going to take the break. Find a guest to replace me. And I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Anyways, I'm Annie, and I hopefully won't record the podcast alone at 3 a.m. when Marks is gone. I actually have to think about what I'm going to do when you're gone, because otherwise I'm going to be left recording it alone at 3 a.m. while you're gone. But do you want to tell the people where you're going real quick? Context?
Yeah, so also, dude, this is like, my life is just like, woo! But I am flying out to Scotland and London in 3 days. So this is just kind of like a personal vacation for myself. Like I like going like hiking and stuff like that. So I want to go see the Highlands and like, you know, go through, just high five my boy Nessie or my girl Nessie. I'm not actually sure what gender pronouns they use. But then also too, I've got a friend who's going to school in London. So I was like, you know what? It would be sick to like be able to go see all of the UK and stuff like that, because I've never been over there before. So I'm super excited. But what this has meant is usually I have like a week and a half to edit the podcast, make all the clips, you know, like figure out all the issues, sort it all out, get everything scheduled. It's fantastic. Yeah, now that I've got 3 days, in addition to also continuing to like, you know, I gotta like figure my stuff out. Like I gotta pack, I gotta like finish up work. So I'm a little panicked, if I'm being completely honest with you, but it'll be okay. I'm sure it will, right? Tell me it'll be okay.
It'll be okay, but I mean, we can talk about this later, but I can edit the podcast too. You don't have to do it. You want to do it, don't you? I see the look in your eyes. Like, you want to do it. You don't want to give it to me. But like, what am I supposed to do when you're not here? I'm going to have to edit that myself too.
It's true. Yeah. Good luck. No, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Fine. You're so mean.
Oh, I'm so mean.
What did I do today already? I didn't do anything. Before
you're coming in swinging. You literally said that the thing I had to say was I am leaving you.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Context is important.
You made it.
Context is important, because as soon as I said that, you pouted. You pouted so hard and looked directly into your camera for that.
It's not a bad thing.
Oh boy. But no, I think it'll be exciting. It's going to be a nice little break. Very excited to just be like, woohoo, I am nature man for like 5 days. And then I'm going to be a city, what do they call them? Hoodman? No, that's more of a Toronto thing. Shoot. The British phrase is escaping me. A boss man? Yeah, I'm going to be a Boston man, living it up at getting stuff at, I forget the name of the grocery store right now. This is, you know what? We're moving on. When I come back, though, I'm going to have it down. Trust me.
Okay.
I'm going to have a British accent and you're not going to be expecting it. It's going to be crazy.
Okay.
Well, you're on the Pushing Buttons podcast. This is an esports themed kind of like slice of life podcast to give you guys a little bit of a behind the scenes look at some esports production, but also to just some of the stuff that's going on in our lives, like the trip that is giving me a little bit of anxiety right now, but that's okay.
It's okay. We've all been there.
Yep. But okay, so a really interesting thing happened today. And so by the time that this comes out, it's no longer probably happening because the internet moves incredibly fast. But there's a little bit of a Twitter trend going on here. And Annie, would you like to describe it?
It's the path to esports trend where you write all of the stuff that led you to esports. More specifically, people are writing their previous positions that they've held, everything that they've done before. We've been learning a lot about our fellow community members and colleagues. I first discovered it from Shelton, Call Me Shelton, who is a production person / observer, also primarily in the Valorant and FPS scene. But he's been around for a while, but I didn't really know about the things that he had done prior to coming into esports. And so it's been really cool seeing the similarities and differences that Shelton has with other people, that I have with Shelton and I have with other people. It seems everybody and their mom has worked retail or service at some point. Do you have anyone in particular that you were really like, that you saw their path to esports and you were like, yo, that's really cool, I didn't know that about you?
Well, one that actually stood out to me, and I think that, okay, also too, like, we say that this is a trend, but like it exploded. Like I've seen almost everybody's this is more or less the resume, right? Like that's kind of what you're doing here. You're listing out all these positions that you worked in order to get yourself into an esports space, whether intentional or not, right? Because, you know, I'm like you, I kind of stumbled into it. It wasn't really part of the plan, just kind of did it for fun. And then here we are. But one specifically that stood out to me was actually Boone. I'm not sure if you saw that one, but
can you tell me
essentially about it was like, you know, pretty standard stuff, and then getting into school, but then leaving school in order to start doing like broadcast based stuff. But it all came back around because right now Boone's back in school, like finishing up that degree. And that to me was kind of, it's interesting, right? Because Boone's also like a little bit older than us and has been in the scene for quite a bit of time as well. And so, you know, like it doesn't stop with esports, I think was like what kind of stood out to me there. You can still take those experiences and move into another sector, or, you know, who knows, maybe Boone will come back into esports at some point once some of the other things happen. It's the level of like variety that I kind of saw that was the most interesting thing to me when reading through all these posts of the people.
Yeah. And I think sorry, excuse me. Please cut that out. Wait, I'm editing it. I can cut it out. No, I can cut it out because I'm editing.
That's what you think?
No, that's what I'm doing. But we're so focused all the time. I say we as a collective, we, not just you and I. We're so focused on esports, on like getting into esports, surviving in esports, getting the next gig in esports, that a lot of people, I think, tend to fail about what comes next until you're presented with that, I guess, fork in the road of, do I try to continue pursuing esports, or do I want to continue doing this, or is it time to pursue a different career? And that's something that's really normal, that happens all the time, right? People will try working in one industry or one career field, decide like that's not quite right for them, or they want to try something new. It's part of growth. It's part of life. And we haven't seen a lot of people quite get to that point yet. So. Yeah,
no, that's an excellent way of putting it. I mean, this is one of the things too. This is, we'll see how this, we'll see. I'm curious to see how you're going to receive this, but everybody, like, especially on social media, because social media is one of those things that, you know, you're supposed to hype yourself up, you know, you're presenting yourself and to an audience of people, so you want to make it sound like everything is great, right? And so there are a lot of people where it's just like, well, I'm in esports, I've made it now, this is it, and this is just my life. Everything is going to be, this is just all esports all the time, stuff like that. But like you said, at some point, a fork in the road is going to come down where you have to make some decisions, whether or not it's your own volition or something happens in your life that kind of forces this decision. I mean, you can look at it as an analogy as just like a normal working person, right? Like, it's just like, oh no, I've just been laid off of my job. What do I do? Do I start putting my resume out there? Maybe I pursue my creative passion that I always want to do. Do I go back to school? What's going on? In this scenario, you just replace the business with, oh no, esports. I can't find a job here right now just because of how things are going. You know, what's my next move? And I don't think that we get a lot of those moments in the community, right?
Mm-hmm. Because esports is the fastest growing industry. Why would you not want to be in it? You know, things are coming fast. They're gonna come. Don't worry. You know.
Yeah.
But you mentioned earlier that trends come and go fast. This thing boomed, popped. So I saw the first tweet about it like late last night. And when I say late last night, I mean like 11 p.m. my time on the West Coast, so 11 to 2 a.m. on the East Coast. A lot of people are sleeping at that time, Sunday night, you know. And I really wanted to participate in this trend, but I also wanted other people to see me participate in it. So I scheduled my tweet actually to post later in the morning, and I actually do that quite frequently. I'll think of a tweet and then I'll schedule it, and then I'll start getting notifications, and I'm like, what the heck is happening right now? Oh, this tweet I scheduled 3 days ago has gone up. But anyways, that was
You're
not
creating your own problems.
No, I mean, it's not a problem. I think I'm solving my own problems. Like, I don't have to wake up and think about, hey, I should post something that I saw and thought about yesterday. But yeah, I lost my energy. I just used all of, I think if you rewatch this clip,
enthusiastic.
you can watch my face deflate and then me realizing it happened right afterwards. But the point I wanted to get to was that it's not, I mean, if you have any curated social media at all, you know that the time that you post things is really important to be seen. I benefit from that today. Marks did something last week.
I did do something last week. Yeah.
Tell me about the thing you did last week.
Okay, but by the way, when you're editing this, when you specifically make that clip, can you have like an
I'm
editing
editing
bar
it.
Besides, you just said you wanted to edit it, so I'll let you edit if you want to edit it.
Okay.
No, I'll edit it. It's fine.
No, I'm gonna. Okay, well, we're not having this argument right now. We'll do it later.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so I mentioned it on a previous episode. I can't remember if it was the last one or the one before that, but I was looking at like brushing up my reel a little bit because, well, what's happening right now is all of the collegiate, all of the high school tournament leagues that I was working before, they're all starting to wrap up. And on top of that too, like when summertime comes around, that's when these new tournaments are going to pop up and are just going to be like less league based, but just more like, ooh, tournament, sign up, and it's going to be a good time, right? So I was like, okay, I should brush up my reel and get it out there as like soon as possible, just as all of these events are ending. So then that way it's like fresh, brand new in people's minds when they're starting to brainstorm for their tournaments. And then hopefully when things start to pop up, it'll be a little bit easier for me to just message someone and be like, oh, hey, hello, it is I. So the last time I did a reel, I posted it at noon my time, right? Because my thought process was like, yeah, like it's the lunch hour. People are like eating lunch right now, so then they're just going to be on their phones scrolling on social media, and then my reel will pop up, and then people will see it. Yeah. And then you came for my throat. You just took the knife, went straight for the jugular. Okay, I'm being a little bit dramatic right now, but
you are being dramatic, and I would like to say you didn't. I don't think you posted it at noon. I feel like you posted it earlier than that.
No, I always made sure to post it on my lunch break. Yeah, because that was my original thought process, where I'm like, yeah, like people will be eating lunch, so they'll see it. The problem being, a lot of people who are involved in esports, one, usually start work later. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, I'm thinking my time zone. I'm not really thinking about everywhere else. Specifically, like Annie on the West Coast, where there's a 3-hour time difference, and suddenly noon is actually 9 o'clock in the morning, in addition to esports companies starting a little bit later. All right. So thought about that one, considered it, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to post it like as late into the day as I can, right? So I'm like, okay, I got the video edited, ready to go live at a moment's notice. Things are gonna be fantastic. It's Thursday, we're chilling. I've got it all written out and stuff like that. And then I look and I'm like, oh shoot, VCT is on. No one's gonna be on Twitter looking for a reel because they're watching VCT. But then I also had to go out that night, so I'm like, I was watching the game and I was nervously like, come on, hurry up.
Because you wanted it to end, like, were you rooting for a team or?
No, I can't remember what teams were playing at that specific match, but I was just like, just wrap up the broadcast so that I can post this tweet and then I can leave, so I'm not late to the engagement that I had said that I was going to go to. Thankfully, it was a 2-0. I don't remember what the matchup was, and it was just about 6:20ish my time when I like posted that tweet, and then I bounced. And then literally, like, I was on a bus just like going, and then I just got a message from you being like, you've changed. And I'm like, what? What's going on now?
Yeah, you're posting at different times. You're posting at times that are good for everybody. But it is a smart time to post. Like, everybody goes on Twitter afterwards to talk about it, to shit on Potter, to do whatever, which, by the way, Stan Potter.
Yeah,
no Potter hate in this household.
We do. Not in this podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, that was one of those things that I was trying to be a little bit more tactical with it, just because I genuinely do think it helped. I also think it's been a little while since I've put out a reel. Like, that was before I did the whole like half marathon story, and then I worked at the Campus Clutch. I haven't posted a reel since before that event. So it's been like a hot minute since I've actually thrown something back out there. But I feel like I've worked quite a few events, and then I timed it very well. I also really liked the job that I did with the reel. I thought, not to toot my own horn a little bit, but I think I did a pretty good edit for that one. So I was like pretty happy with the result of this entire process, although it did cause minor anxiety.
Okay, well, I'll glaze over the minor anxiety part. Okay. I'm not sure if it was so minor. Anyways, sorry, I messed up a little bit. I was actually really impressed by how many lands I didn't realize how many lands you've done until I actually watched your reel, and I saw T-Val, I saw Red Bull Campus Clutch.
Yep.
I saw Nerd Street, and I was like, wow, this is really fun. You've gone around and done a lot. That's really cool. It's not just a reel to like highlight your skills. It's also kind of a summary of that's what it's for. It's a summary of everything you've done. It's to show off your skills. But I really liked seeing all of the things that you've done. That's really cool.
Thank you. I'm happy that you enjoyed it. What's with the long sigh?
Because I have so many things to do, and I'm about to spiral into another existential crisis because
Yo, same fam.
Game
recognize game.
Stop. Clown to clown communication.
You can't spoil it.
I didn't say anything else. That's all I said.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're not doing that for real. That like idea that we had several episodes
okay,
ago.
no, we can't talk about it. What were you going to say?
Okay, I was going to say my existential crisis is going to spiral because I had a giveaway on Twitter, and it was my pinned post for the 2 weeks that I was doing the giveaway on Twitter. Prior to that, it was Lizard People Run Esports. And prior to that, it was my reel because I'm an observer. And that's not the point of this episode. We're done talking about Lizard People. But prior to the Lizard People situation, my pinned tweet was my observer reel, my most recent observer reel from March of 2022. Before a lot of things happened, like getting to go to Las Vegas for my fellowship and getting to do my first lands and traveling and doing a lot of other observer gigs. And I haven't updated my reel in a really long time, and it stresses me out that I haven't done that. And I'm actively going into the existential crisis, by the way. I'm also stressed that like that reel that I put out last year did so well. I don't think that I can achieve that again. It got thousands of views. It has like over 200 likes on it on an observer reel. No one like, I've never seen people care about observers like that much. At that point in time, I was like, what the hell? I'm just a nobody. Like, what is happening? What's going on? So now I'm insecure and I'm like, well, I can't release a new reel because it's just gonna flop compared to this one. Anyways. I'm channeling. Thank you.
You're welcome. I got you.
I'm gonna channel all this energy into other things. I will not be updating my reel. Let me make that clear right now. I should, but I don't plan to at this moment because once again, it gives me anxious feelings and I just don't want to think about it.
It's an anxious thing.
And also, I don't know, people have stopped hiring me for observer gigs, and maybe that's because I haven't updated my reel in 14 months. But also, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just not relevant as an observer. I'm just gonna channel all of this energy into other things, okay? And one of those things that I want to do is I just want to this is partly related to my job but also like my passion. I just hosted a tournament, right? And I did a stream. I did a planning stream.
Yes, you did.
Sorry, I'm still laughing at the fact that I just talked myself in and out of an existential crisis in approximately 5 minutes. I'm
very proud of you, by the way. I didn't even have to say anything. I just kind of nodded every now and then.
I know, it's so funny. Anyways, I did a co-working stream.
Yeah.
For this tournament, and it was a lot of fun. I used Notion, one of my favorite productivity apps, but I want to create kind of that foundation and basis and make tournament resources more accessible for people so anyone can learn to host even a small tournament just for their friends or for their Twitch communities or because they want to learn more about esports, right? So I want to start publishing those kinds of resources. I want to host more tournaments myself. And so as a freelancer, I'm just not a freelancer anymore. I'm creating my own gigs and possibly investing my own money into getting freelancers. And it's just a whole different world that I have to explore now. And now I'm getting into another existential crisis, but I'm gonna collect myself and not let that go too far.
Okay.
There's a lot of things to do, and I don't have time for all of the observer stuff. Not just because I don't have time to be an observer. I will always make time to be an observer. Please hire me. But also working as a freelancer, there is a ton of shit you have to do behind the scenes. 1, edit your reel. 2, cold DM people. 3, invoice people. 4, I don't even know, but there's a lot of stuff. 4, I do know. VOD reviewing and really cultivating your skills. There's a lot of shit that you have to do, and it causes anxiety and existential crises I'm going through right now. This is not a character. This is real.
No, I'm aware. I am very much aware of this, Annie. You don't have to tell me twice. But no, I'm glad that you talk about that type of stuff and at least bring that up front because that's a lot of things, especially for the people who are just kind of stepping in and being like, wow, how to do esports and all that type of stuff. I mean, at this point, you vocalizing it, I'm like, yeah, absolutely, that makes total sense. Like all those things you have to be doing actively if you want to find freelance work. But there was a time where it was just like, how do anything?
How do you said do?
Yeah, I did say do. But it's like there's quite a bit, like you almost have to be your own admin person, right? Like you have to know how to like approach this side of stuff. I mean, even down to, you know, scheduling your tweets and how you present yourself. There's a lot that goes on in that kind of will allow you to be a freelancer and get freelance work. And so, you know, it's something that's just always pretty behind the scenes for a lot of freelancers. But everyone just kind of assumes, because you have to stumble through the process and figure it out yourself, that they're like, oh yeah, no, everyone just knows that that's how it goes on, you know, da 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 da. It's like, why can't you just put out another reel? Well, you know, there's a bunch of considerations I have to make right now. Why aren't you just working all the time? Well, there's a whole bunch of considerations we have to think through right now. And so that's just kind of like a good way to at least like talk through it. Are you okay?
No.
Okay.
I've been dissociating literally all day.
Oh no. This is gonna be a fun episode to listen to.
When I'm editing it.
Okay. Stop fighting me on this.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's like
Same. How do I retweet that?
Oh God. Oh man, I came into this and it was like, man, I wrote an outline for this podcast for the first time in 5 episodes. We're gonna be so organized. It's gonna be so good until. Yeah.
So what's also too funny about how you're talking about that was just like, oh, okay, if Annie's gonna be the one who's like organized today, then I could be a little bit more loopy and have a little bit more fun with that, which is basically how the introduction of this podcast worked. But then now I'm like, oh, I need to rein it in.
No, you don't. It's fine. I can control myself. I reined it in. See, I was about to start the second existential crisis, right? I pulled myself somewhat together.
Yep.
A little bit. Good. I don't know. Yep. If you like, I don't. Sorry.
Also, okay, don't apologize.
A little bit of other behind the scenes stuff. I'm pretty sure. Also, I'm not pretty sure. I'm 100% certain. I messaged Marks today, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but something's going on. And if you let me talk for a little too long, it's going to get off topic. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. Existential crisis, believe it or not, I never schedule an existential crisis into the outline, but it somehow always finds its way in there.
If you read the first letter of each single point, it spells out existential. Oh no, it's seeped in somehow.
Yeah,
that's not actually true.
On our other weeks, it spells crisis.
Yeah. It's like, it's time of the week.
Yeah, time of the week again. But there's always a lot. There's always a lot going on. How can I not have an existential crisis, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like that's also too just a symptom of everything that's going on in the world right now. So yeah, that's fair.
I started journaling lately.
Oh, nice. That's actually a pretty useful technique. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I've started journaling lately. I'm trying to do, I say trying because it's not an everyday thing yet. It takes a while to build a habit, right? Mm-hmm. So when I am journaling, I'm thinking about things such as what is your motivation today, or set an intention for today. I wake up and I set an intention. What do I want to do? I reflect on like what is something that you were thankful for today, or what's something that made you happy, so I can look back on the journal entries and I'm like, wow, I did this fun thing like a while ago. That's nice. And other than, you know, fun things and prompts, it's also important to think about what next. What are the things that you want to improve on? Or what are the things that might have made you sad? And it's always important to be looking forward. And one of the things that I just shared with you that I'm looking forward to is doing all of my tournament creation things. It's gonna be really fun. This wasn't in the outline, but I heard you're doing a tournament too. The Works Wumbo.
What? I see what you're doing here.
The
We're putting me
Works
on
Wumbo.
That's a name that you suggested, by the way.
And you
Yeah, no.
almost took it.
I almost took it. But yeah, I'm starting to dip my feet into tournament creation a little bit and organization and stuff like that. Just because for me, like, in how I like operate, just I think like as a person, I always want to see like what's going on the other person's perspective. I think that's always really interesting, and I think it always helps inform you what other people are doing, so that when you're talking to them, when you're working with them, it's a lot more easier to just understand each other, and that just allows for better tournament creation. And up until, or sorry, not tournament creation, but like an overall better product of whatever you're a part of, right? So, I mean, I do this with work all the time where like, you know, it's not an uncommon thing for like me to just schedule meetings with some of my coworkers just to be like, okay, can we just like sit down and like talk about what we're doing? So then that way we know what's going on and how our pieces of work can like work together, or just be aware of everything that's happening. And at this point, like I've been doing esports for like 2 years, and never really got into like the tournament creation or like stepped outside of like just a production environment. And I think that those are really important skill sets for me to understand as well, so that when I am working some of these tournaments, then it's like, oh, okay, I kind of know what's going on, instead of just being like, I need an adult help. Could somebody help me out? And so I am looking forward to putting a little bit more effort into that. I'm still kind of working out the plans and working out the specifics there, but I think it's going to be a really important learning experience for myself that is just going to better my own spot in esports, because that, in a way, that almost is a fork in the road. You know, I could learn something that is going to happen here, and then that might make me rethink how I approach esports. You know, maybe I just continue down the exact same route afterwards. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm a big believer in, you gotta just go for it, probably fail. There's gonna be a lot of problems there, but then once you understand it the first time, then it's like, okay, all right, now we can actually start to pull it together a little bit more, figure out what went wrong, figure out what worked well, and then, you know, improve the product over time. So yeah, that's going to be extremely exciting. But I also have something else that I am extremely excited about that is in the outline that I thought you were going to get, but instead...
No, I really wanted to say Works Wumbo, so...
Yeah, oh, okay. Now I see that.
Also, it's not written in the outline. This next thing also isn't written in the outline. I verbally asked you, do you want to talk about it?
That's fair.
So, like,
yeah.
It's like,
but I started... Yes. I started talking to a couple of students who are interested in getting into casting. I'm not sure that I said this on the podcast before, but like for a hot second, I was really considering becoming like a teacher. And this also spiraled out a little bit more when I was finishing my master's degree, and then I was working as a teacher's assistant for like multiple courses. And I'm like, damn, this is really fun. I really enjoy this. I should get my PhD so I can teach. And I'm like, hold on a second. Wait a second. Let's slow down for a second. That's a little too much. Thankfully, I reined myself in at that point, because I don't know how I would have survived there. But this has been an opportunity. So I've been speaking to 2 students in mentoring a little bit, and, you know, giving my own experience and helping them get comfortable in a recording environment. Obviously, do I think that I am the best caster in the world?
Yes.
I know all the tricks and tips of the industry. No, you are incorrect.
Never
you are
mind.
definitely incorrect.
I was wrong.
There you go.
Again.
Right answer.
I'm always
wrong. So okay, come on, you're spiraling again. But you know, I can at least, I know how to teach the fundamentals for a lot of those things, where it's like, hey, these are some talking points. Let's watch a VOD, pay attention to these couple of points, and then once you've got those ideas in your brain, it'll be a lot easier to talk about them, instead of panicking, being like, oh no, what's happening? I need to look around at everything. What is going on? And then overwhelming yourself. And so I'm really excited for that, but unfortunately my timing is really bad, because both of these students are going through the gauntlet of exams right now. And then as soon as they finish up, I'm on vacation for 2 weeks.
Oh, that's fine. It's okay. They get a break from learning things and exams to going into learning things and exams. I mean, I don't know if you're planning on testing them on anything, but maybe you should.
No, I don't. I like.
Are they gonna cast the Works Wumbo? Maybe that's their final.
I don't. Potentially. I mean, I would be open to it. I don't know the specifics on it just quite yet, but like what the goal for me mentoring these students is to get them into a first tournament where they feel confident that they will be able to cast and it was not weird and they are good. And then afterwards, you know, if they obviously want to grow a little bit more, then I'd be willing to help them out there. But that's like my main expertise is just those beginning steps, you know, figuring out how to do those throws, figuring out how to set up storylines, what to look for, all of that type of stuff is like what I really want to focus on. Because what I'm noticing is a lot of casters in the scene, that stuff comes naturally to them.
Mm-hmm.
It did not come naturally to me when I first started, but that was because I worked at a radio station, so I had to learn it by like a textbook style thing from a guy who was like a show host telling me this is how you do it. And so I've got some of those teachings still in my brain. And I'm like, wait, this is a very useful tool for people who are not familiar with this. So it's a new venture, but I'm really excited to see how it goes. I'm kind of cursing that I am going on vacation though, because, you know, then I would have had a little bit more time and I think it would have been cool, but I need a vacation. So that is how it goes.
Vacation. That is causing you stress. Apparently.
I don't want to get into it. Yes. Once I'm on vacation, I think it'll be fine. But leading up to it, I'm probably going to be nervous, but that's okay. That's just kind of how
anxiety. It just be like that, you know. Sometimes it be like that.
Sometimes there are factors that are outside of your control, and you know what? You just got to roll with it. When I'm there, it'll be fine though. Like I'm going to have fun, and I know that. It's just leading up to it. It's like so many things could go wrong.
But then when you come back, so here, listen, I'm going to talk you out of your exit crisis. I'm not a caster for a reason, and that's because I trip over all of my words. But you're going to go on your vacation in a few days. It's going to be great. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to see mountains and do city things after you see the mountains. And then, why did you make that face?
I mean, there's not really mountains in Scotland.
You're going to see the hills.
Okay,
you're going to see the hills. You're going to see the hills.
Show.
It's going to be great. You're going to go to the city. It's going to be great. And then you're going to come back and you're going to teach your students and it's going to be great. Everything is going to be great. And you're going to, have you ever mentored somebody before?
Not in esports. I have done it academically, as well as for like a little bit of like job prospecty type of stuff, but never in esports. So this is like a little bit brand new in that front.
Yeah, but you've done it before. You kind of know the reins of it, and it feels good to have a mentor, right? It feels good to be mentored, but it also feels good to have a mentee too. So I'm really happy for you that you have these two students, and I'm going to steal them from you, and I'm going to make them love me because I'm going to steal them for one of my tournaments. So you can't have them for the Works Wumbo. I'm going to have them for Anniepoo Arena. And you let me talk for too long. I'm not saying
what their names are anymore. Their identities will remain hidden forever.
It's okay.
But when you see two rising stars going up in the casting scene, just know there is a powerful mentor
they came
there.
From you.
Yeah.
Where did you find them? Anyway, were they from like your high school and college leagues you've been doing?
No, it was actually through an Overwatch connection. So because I am more specialized in Valorant, they reached out and were just like, hey, like got a student who's interested in like learning how to do like Valorant casting specifically. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like I would definitely want to kind of like pick it up. And so then messaged a student and kind of got things arranged, and then they reached out to their friend who also wanted to get into Valorant casting, and so that's how I found it too. So yeah, word of mouth.
Wow. I'm dissociating again. Also, there's sirens outside of my apartment. So I can hear it through my headset. It's a little loud.
I can hear it too.
You can?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, but,
just like
okay.
I was hoping you were gonna go on for a little longer so I wouldn't have to talk. And
yeah,
you'd have to hear that. But sometimes it do be like that.
We need to work on like a visual signal when you're dissociating, but we don't say what it is. But then I'll realize like, oh, Eddie's dissociating. Okay, I'll keep on talking for a little while longer, and then the viewers will have to guess what the signal is. That'd be pretty funny.
But here's the thing, I don't realize when I'm dissociating until like after I come back. I'm like, how long have I been gone?
But that's the thing, like once you come back, then you can be like signal, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, dissociated there, so I'll keep on talking for a little while. That way you know what you're talking about.
Got it. We'll figure something out. Maybe this can be a game. Figure out the Annie is dissociating signal for all of our video viewers.
Annie, you dissociated again because I literally just said that. Okay, well,
no, you said a signal for you to see.
Yeah,
but
and then I followed that up.
Okay.
Then I followed that up with, and that could be like a fun thing for viewers on YouTube to try and figure out what the signal is and then drop it down in the comments.
Dude, that's crazy.
I added the comments part.
That's crazy, bro. I didn't hear that at all.
I know.
It's a Monday.
Just another manic Monday. But okay, we gotta wrap this thing up though, because you gotta go play some Premiere games. Did you forget that you were playing Premiere?
No, I didn't forget. I didn't tell you that I'm not playing the Premiere game today because we don't have enough team members.
Oh,
that's why I didn't. That's why I didn't say anything about trying to wrap it up. You just made me sad again. I'm gonna go dissociate in a corner.
Oh, okay. Damn, I'm just over here trying to be accommodating. Make sure you are still on. Okay. Oh, bye, Annie. Listen, last week I left. This time Annie's leaving. But see, I was just trying to be gracious, make sure that Annie didn't like completely dissociate and miss the fact that they had to go play a Premiere game, and then I was going to be the reason that I was late, and then I'd probably never hear the end of it because then Annie would just continuously be like, yeah, and then Mark's made me late for my Premiere games, and then we lost, and that just could have been what it is. But okay, that is going to be the end of the Pushing Buttons podcast, the Existential Crisis edition. Actually, that's just every edition, huh? But like we kind of talked about during the course of this episode, I'm not going to be around for the next one. What's it going to look like? I don't know. Does Andy know? I don't know. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to check back in 2 weeks. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so then that way you can see what's going on. Follow us on Twitter. We're at PushButtonsPod. We're posting 2 clips for every single episode. I'm sure that 2 clips will still be ready for this episode as well, despite the time crunch that I am currently under. But regardless, make sure to, did I say? Oh no, I didn't say it. Hey, make sure to follow our podcast. Leave us a review as well on Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever you're using to listen to this thing, because that also helps out with a little bit of the algorithm. And you know what? Would be kind of curious. Kind of let us know what you think about how the flow of the podcast is going. Any feedback is always greatly appreciated. I realize that we haven't said that one in a while, so I thought I might as well just throw it out there. But that is going to be the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Annie, do you have any final thoughts before we close out? I am LFT looking for thoughts. Thank you, Annie. Okay, well, we will catch you next time. Bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Okay.